Federal investigators looking into an apparent arson attack and attempted vandalism at the Republican Party headquarters in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Take a look. These photos provided by the Republican Party of New Mexico show just some of the aftermath of that weekend attack. No injuries reported there, including to the firefighters who say they were able to get that fire out in a matter of moments. But again, a lot of damage left behind. Amy Barela is the chairwoman of the Republican Party of New Mexico, joining us now to discuss all of this. Thank you so much for taking the time to be here with us today.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. Well, first off, can you kind of walk me through how you found out about what was going on here?
So my phone rang about 7 o'clock in the morning. I was getting ready for church, and it was somebody that had received notification from our alarm system that there was something going on at headquarters. So I called the executive director, and she was already on her way to the headquarters to see what was going on. And we knew that there was a fire. And so I just immediately, I changed clothes into some mop-up clothes to go clean up the mess and headed to Albuquerque. And it's after sitting down and crying for just a minute, now we are in repair mode and going to come out stronger than ever.
I know it's all under investigation right now. There are several agencies that are involved, but what can you tell me overall about what happened?
We received notification from our alarm system of motion detected about 1 a.m. and we didn't see anything going on. So we just figured it was just a false alarm. And then at 5 a.m., the alarm went off again, and that is when the fire actually ignited.
Have you guys had any sort of prior threats, anything that stood out to you that maybe led up to all of this?
You know, unfortunately, we get threats via email and voicemail almost daily. So there's no way that we can pinpoint which one it was specifically, but the FBI have all of them.
And they're, of course, investigating along with several other agencies here. Had this had any sort of impact on security at your building? What about other Republican headquarters nationwide? Are they maybe beefing up security as a result of this?
I didn't realize until yesterday, I had a whole bunch of state party chairs reach out to me that this is occurring nationally. They're getting broken into, items stolen, vandalism, you know, at many state headquarters. So I hope to be able to get them recognized as well, because this is obviously a national problem. As far as our headquarters is concerned, as we rebuild, we are also going to strengthen our security measures for, you know, after hours and during work hours.
And we've heard from some folks that this could be investigated as a potential hate crime. So I have to ask, is that how you view it?
Absolutely. And that is also how the FBI is viewing it as well. This was a blatant attack on the Republican headquarters like this. And I really pray that it is not a result of one of our Congress ladies' comments that she had the night before at a town hall meeting, you know, specifically asking for the people in the crowd to agitate and be the agitators. 5 hours later is when the next notification for our alarms went off.
What would you say to the person or persons who did this? If you could speak with them directly, what would you want to say to them?
Nothing good can result from violent behavior or even any kind of verbal or physical behavior. We can all sit at the table and we can come to a compromise that betters New Mexico. And, you know, they try to intimidate us and silence us because we are fighting for all the citizens of New Mexico. And this is only emboldening me to make sure that I represent all of New Mexicans, because there are so many New Mexicans that are touched by crime in some sort of fashion. And so I am going to make sure that we go through legislation, fix crime policies, do whatever we can to make New Mexico a better place.
How can political leaders here on both sides work together? You kind of touched on this a little bit, but you have Republicans, Democrats. Things are obviously very heated politically nationwide right now. So how can the two parties work together to prevent things like this?
We need to actually sit at the table and address specific legislation to handle crime. Right now, we have our law enforcement agencies that do exactly as they're supposed to do. They apprehend and they charge. But the judicial system is failing us because they are failing to prosecute and releasing the people. We have three other instances that happened with our headquarters where people were actually charged, but everybody was released. So this escalates the problem. If we can't fix the small crime, how are we going to address the larger crime?
All right. Amy Barela, thank you so much for taking the time to join us. Obviously, a lot of damage we see in the photos, and now there is, of course, increased security. Anything you want to add about this? Anything I left out before you go?
No, other than we are going to come out better and stronger. Our headquarters is going to be remodeled, and we are not going to be silenced.
All right. Amy Barela there, chairwoman of the Republican Party of New Mexico. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us today. We appreciate it.
Thank you very much for having me.
And we did reach out to the New Mexico Democrats. They have responded as well with this statement right here on your screen. It says, quote, "The Democratic Party of New Mexico condemns the vandalism at the Republican Party of New Mexico headquarters as strongly as possible. We firmly maintain that this sort of act has absolutely no place in our democracy and that peaceful discourse and organization are the only ways to approach political differences in our country. We hope whoever is responsible is found and held accountable." End quote.